Anyways, we are joined today by Coach Heidi from the Arsenal South program in Temecula.
Hello.
Actually, we're pretty excited to have Heidi on. Huge accomplishment for her and her team this past weekend, winning the the girls 03 State Cup Championship, the President's Division. So congrats on that.
Yeah, big
Thank
congrats.
you.
That was a good win. It was an exciting game. I hobbled down there and got a chance to watch it, and I'm glad I did.
It was fun.
Just reflecting on that game a little bit, or that whole State Cup process. What are your biggest takeaways from that?
I think this was 2 years in the making. So the year before we were Tier 2, this year Tier 1, and just putting in all the work, the tactics, the playing style, teaching them the playing style throughout the year.
Wait, can I just stop for a second?
Yes.
So you were Tier 2 2 seasons ago?
Yes.
And then you just won State Cup President's Division.
Right.
So, tiers, do you think Flight 1, Flight 2, what's your take on that?
I think a lot of it is development and where the kids at. From a year's time, the kids develop a lot. And a lot of people think like when they get into high school, they kind of stop evolving, but it's actually the opposite is true, as I feel like they evolve more as players. So it was really awesome to see kind of the fruits of your labor, because you put in so much time and effort, and you can see the reward for all the hours that we put in. And so I think the turning point for us was in Phoenix, and we came off and won that tournament.
And that was the Phoenix Cup Showcase?
Right.
Phoenix, yeah.
Right. So it gave us the confidence, and we kind of adopted the refuse to lose mentality. So that was huge for launching us into State Cup.
And there was a lot of bonding too, it seems like, because you guys had a lot of connection at the trophy ceremony. There was a lot of little inside jokes, I don't cry,
bow down.
The bow down. There was a lot, so it was cool.
Right.
It's always cool to see that. That's another side of the teams and the soccer that people forget about.
Right.
And it's the relationships. It's that side of it that is rewarding to the girls as well. Because they've bonded and they spend so much time together with the teammates and with you that goes a long way in life.
Right. Right. And that's what the kids remember. We're able.
They don't remember not getting
the wins
the
and
call
the loss.
Or
The goal, yeah. So in Phoenix was huge, because we were able to we're together at the same hotel. We were visiting colleges. We went to Arizona State, GCU. So we were together a lot, and we went out to dinner together. That, the team chemistry and off the field bonding that we did there, I feel like launched us for our success. And I think what the biggest thing that happened was the love that they had for each other. When you have love for the person next to you as a player, you want to fight 10 times harder in that game, because you don't want to let anyone down. So it was just kind of cool.
Absolutely. And we got a little bit off track, and that was my fault, just kind of going into you're reflecting on State Cup. I wanted to get more into your background.
Right.
So what is your background as far as soccer? When did you start as a player? How many years have you been around the game?
Okay, so I started probably like all these kids. I started at 5 years old. Actually, I was a member of the first girls club team in Temecula.
Oh, wow.
So we have a little history here. And our team was Heat Wave, and we were kind of a funny name. And I was coached by a coach who's never played soccer before, and his name is Nick Latart. So I don't know, probably people still know him.
Is he still coaching to this day?
No,
Okay.
He's older and not coaching anymore.
Okay.
A lot older.
Nick, if you ever hear this, thanks.
Right.
Thank you, Nick.
Was it an instant passion that you had for the game, or did that come over the years?
I was very athletic as a kid. I did a lot of things. I BMX'd.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a huge BMX.
Learning some stuff about hiking today.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, and I raced against boys, and I played softball, and we didn't really play club soccer. Well, I played rec soccer, and you play with boys, right? There's no girls team. So, and then our coach decided to just put a girls team together. So that's when I was 12, and I was still playing multiple sports. So that's when I started is 12 years old. And then from there, I went to play at San Diego State for Chuck Clegg, and that's where I received my bachelor's degree in psychology. And in the meantime, I was coaching on the side for a club called Pegasus, a U8 boys team. And that was my first coaching experience. And I coached to make money for college and to make ends meet. And that was the original reason why I was coaching.
So have you been coaching since then? Did you take any time off? Did you just get right into?
Right. So I've been coaching since then. My coaching probably really took off when I had my daughter Kaylee. So she basically had a ball at her feet since she's out of the womb. So when
She's a stud player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when she was 4 years old, so this is a good story. So we talk about development. When she was 4 years old, I decided to coach her rec team. So I went out there, and then I started to wonder if these kids can do any skills with the ball. So I started an experiment and see, can they do step overs, pull backs. So I figured out that, wow, these kids are like sponges, and they're able to do all these things. Like, I was amazed because I'm a young mother, and I have a passion for soccer, and I'm gonna try this. So I actually took her team and I just trained them like crazy. And people were like, you shouldn't make the kids do that. You're making my kid feel silly. And I was like, what? I'm just teaching. So from there, I envisioned like a skill mastery. Like, if these players could have really good skills at a really young age. And so basically Kaylee was kind of like my case study.
She was the guinea pig.
She was the guinea pig. I ended up, I'm self-taught, so I did play the game, but I never had my coach never played soccer. So how I learned is we played pickup, and I would learn by playing against Hispanic men. So that's how I learned to play. So, and plus my coach, but he would read it out of a book, but then I would, so fast forward.
That was before YouTube.
That was before YouTube.
Yes.
So
The soccer's for dummies.
right.
Yes.
Fast forward, I was self-taught for coaching, so I studied tapes and I ordered DVDs.
Nice.
Before YouTube. And I just started teaching myself the skills, and that's kind of how I started. So
Pretty impressive.
I became really obsessed with the skill development as it intrigued me so much. So it was fun to see. I got obsessed with like the process, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that was rewarding. My daughter is now 16 years old, and she's the most complete player I've seen. And I don't know if you've watched her play.
I watched her play in high school.
Yeah.
I haven't got to see her.
So she's very technical. We talk about like the 10,000 hours for athletes or anybody who's in a profession. They've put their 10,000 hours in. And since she's been touching the ball since she's probably has over that amount. And she's a very technical player, which you have to be technical before you get tactical. So she was able to learn the tactics way before anybody else, and I think that adds to her soccer IQ.
10,000 hours.
The 10,000 hours.
Yes.
You
I say
guys
for
know
any
that, right?
profession, yeah,
Right.
to
Right.
be considered a professional or know
Right.
what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have Bill Gates, you have all those. I mean,
So if these kids are training 2 days a week for an
Yeah.
hour and a half a session, so I'm
Not
kind of
gonna-
getting at that they need to have a ball at their feet outside of their
Yeah.
organized, their team training.
right,
Yep.
right. It's
At
not
home.
gonna happen for them. No.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna brag about her real fast because she's
Yeah, absolutely.
So she has about 12 college like inquiries,
Nice.
and she's being really picky of where she wants to go. But her most recent phone calls was last week to Point Loma and Boise State. So
Awesome.
she wants to stay in California. But I think she's an example. So when people see her play, it gives me the green light to say, because I trained her when she was this age and this is what I did. And so hopefully it inspires others to maybe follow the process or whatever.
I think maybe we need to have her on the show.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll be a senior, so.
Yes.
Um,
Of course, with mother's permission, and you have to sign the waiver and everything.
crazy. So, from there, so I ended up getting my C license, and I wanted to further the mental side of the game and learn more about coaching. And so I last year I received my master's in coaching at Concordia University, and
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
big one.
Thank you.
So
And
you're still a student of the game. I mean, you're still.
I watch soccer every week, probably 2 games a week when I can.
I think you're always. I mean,
You're always a
anything that
student.
you're passionate about, you're
Right.
still a student, right?
Yes.
Like you're always gonna
Right.
be. That's the key to the success is just
Right.
to keep learning. Like 'cause
Right.
there's always, it's
Absolutely.
always ever changing and evolving and.
Right. And so now they have things on YouTube. They have like people, this is a big business for people. You're paying trainers, like soccer has evolved, like going into the next question, is so fast. I can't even believe the material out there. You know,
Right.
you don't even probably need a trainer. You just go on Instagram or YouTube and you can just follow what they're doing, you know? I think parents hire trainers to get their kids motivated, but
It's the motivation, I think, and the accountability. It's just
Right.
like an adult with a gym, you know, and
Right.
a trainer. We all know kind of what to do, but when you're accountable to someone else,
There's a
Right.
right
Like,
way
you're
and a
gonna
wrong
follow
way.
through.
Right.
Yep.
yeah,
True.
yeah.
True. So, I think the game has evolved. Like the players are getting better at younger and younger ages. I started competitive at 12. My daughter started at 6.
Right.
So, and the parents are thinking sports equals college scholarship. So,
And that's a good one too.
especially
What-
for girls.
What's a good age to jump to club? Like say you're the rec player out there or you're the parent that put your kid in soccer, they've been in rec for a couple of years, like is there an appropriate age? Like is 8 too young? Are they still too immature to understand it? Or
I don't know. These kids are pretty. I feel like they're older for their age because of all the social media stuff. I think
Maybe players
when they're
specific.
ready, yeah, like is it too easy for them? Are they not being challenged? Are they in the backyard constantly playing with the ball? For my daughter, I have a living room that's totally empty. So when she was at 8, we would just play one-on-one, and she'd kick the ball up the stairs until she got stronger, and then I didn't allow her to do that anymore.
Holes in the wall.
Yeah,
yes.
but it took like thousands of times for her to get stronger to do that. But for her, I put her in at 6, but I was the coach. So I was able to play sharks and minnows,
right.
and I tricked the kids. I taught the kids by playing games. So it wasn't like,
That's your
we're
psychology,
standing at
that's your
this
psychology
cone.
background right
Yeah.
there.
yeah. So I tricked them into learning the ball skills, and then they loved it and they wanted to come to practice. If the kid is excited to go to practice each week and they're doing extra stuff, I think it's time. and they express interest, to maybe guide them over to.
That's good. So there is no right age, because we've had people
Right.
ask, like, when's the appropriate age? It's
Right.
just, it's up to your kid,
Right.
maturity and play wise and dedication.
Right.
So.
Alex Morgan played, she started at 14, club soccer.
Mhm.
So that's a
Her whole
prodigy. It's crazy.
ridiculous, yeah.
And then I actually have a girl on my 03 team. Her name's Irene. She's from Thailand, and she only played soccer for since she was 10, and she's only 14. So, and she's phenomenal. She's on the Thailand national team.
Oh,
And I'm like, how did you even learn? Because girls don't play there.
Right.
So, and they only play in very small space with the boys. She said that my teacher for a year gave notes to my mom home saying she needs to play soccer, and her mom didn't believe her. And so after 1 year, the teacher said, finally, here, you need to sign up right now. So her mom signed her up. She played with boys. They played short-sided games, and she learned from playing with the boys, just like I learned by playing with the Hispanic men when I was 16, 17. She's learning from the boys who are very good. And when she got here this year. She's never played a full-size game because 11v11 because they don't allow it there. And she was so excited, and she said, "We get to play a real game." And I said, "Yeah." And so she loved it. She's a phenomenal. She plays like a boy. So I mean, just
You brought it up twice now with your background, and then this player Irene is playing with the boys.
Yes.
So do you think it's beneficial, which I kind of know the answer to this, for the girls to train with the boys, to play with the boys?
Right, I do.
Yes.
This day and age is different because I think if it's not a bunch of girls playing with the boys, because it gets like silly.
Mm-hmm.
But I've asked Kevin many times for my daughter to play with his boys because she's just a higher level. It's faster. You have to think faster. You learn by watching. If that's your learning language is by watching. You learn by watching, and I know that I wouldn't have got to where I wasn't if I didn't play with the boys.
So the speed of play is a huge factor.
And the technical.
Yeah. And I think part of it too, maybe their understanding of the game. I think they see the game a little bit differently.
Right. The soccer IQ. So my kid's soccer IQ is the same as the boys. So and that's would be Irene too. Same as the boys. So she would get bored. My kid would get bored with the speed of play, or she would produce something and no one would finish the ball. So just I think different mentality.
You could tell the player that's out there just playing the game, like we're going out and playing soccer,
Right.
or the player that understands the game of soccer,
Yes.
like what needs, how it works, as opposed to just getting out and running around with the ball and we score goals.
Right.
Right.
And I think
the soccer IQ, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Matt and I can really see it with our girls now at the the 04 level. They're starting to really understand the game a little bit more and have that vision.
Right.
And they're just playing great soccer.
Right.
Yeah, there's definitely a speed. Speed is huge.
Right.
Because I'm used to videoing our girls, and it's easy to follow play and whatnot. And then I followed Chris's 02 Academy.
The 02 Academy.
He was
the
02.
boys. Yeah.
And I was moving the tripod like every 30 seconds, trying to keep up with the ball movement because it was the change of possession and the movement on the field was so big and technical. You could definitely see a difference. So I could see where a girl jumping in with the boys would pay big dividends.
It just stimulates them a little bit, and then they go back, and then it's like they need more. So I think you have to constantly try to get routinely in that environment.
Absolutely. Now I think this next question, it's kind of a hot one. We're not going to be very, we're not going to hold back on it, I don't think. We're going to get into parent involvement.
That's our favorite.
It's our favorite.
Oh, wow.
I think there's positive parent involvement, and then it can be negative in some aspects. And I just wanted to get Heidi's take on parent involvement where it needs to be, what they don't need to focus on. Should they just be supporting their kid? Let's dive into it.
Okay, so my opinion, parents are way too involved. When I was a kid, my parents just sat on the sideline and shut up and never said one word. And now, because parents write the check, they feel like they have the say and the control of what needs to happen with their kid.
The pay-to-play mentality.
The pay-to-play mentality. I feel like there's no loyalty to clubs these days. It's me, now. If I don't get what I need, let's switch, right? So, and I feel like that is all parent influencing the kid on, and I feel like there's no like value system anymore of, you stay with the team through trials, through growth, through development, through you're waiting for all these kids are developing at different times, and then eventually they'll get to the same, usually freshman, sophomore year in high school, and then right after you have success, people want to jump ship, and that's success in the making. It didn't happen overnight. This has been happening for years and years. So it's very frustrating, I think, as a coach to watch that happen, and it's very discouraging because you're on the field with these kids, twice a week, 2-3 times a week, and then games on the weekend. And like you see the fruits of your labor, you see them learning every single practice, you see the light bulb go on, and the parents aren't there, so they don't see that aspect, and so they just see maybe the wins, the losses, some wins, losses. They don't consider the team chemistry, and and then there you go. Then
Right.
it's a parent's decision, and so.
It's funny because my younger Taylor, she just left Legends South to Arsenal South, so she's on Marcy's team.
I think I coached her yesterday.
Yeah.
Good little player.
Yeah, she had a little, I don't know what she was doing in the car. It's like 6:05. Like, I called her during the team meeting. I'm like, hey, Heidi's like practicing right now with the girls. Like, where are you at? She thought it started at 6:30. So
Oh,
I'm going to apologize for her
that's
being
okay.
late right now.
That's okay. She just has to do 20 laps next time.
And you're going to hear that, Taylor. Just 20 laps. So she's actually in that position where she had Steve as the coach, Leacock. They had, tier 1, they were doing great. The team was really good. They went to Elite 8, I think, of National Cup. But she came to me and she wanted more.
Right.
Like, she felt like she was stalled.
Right.
Like, it's almost like the best team you could ask for. The girls were great, the parents were great, but she was stalled.
Right.
For the past 3 years, she's had like inconsistent coaching. It hasn't been as supportive as it was. There were some changes and whatnot, but she came to me and was like, hey, like, I need a change.
Right.
I need something different. And it was a long process. We talked, for a week at least of the pros and cons, and you're gonna give this up and go to a tier 2 team and this and that. And now I think we're like 2 to 3 weeks in with her practicing with Marcy. There's a whole different side of her, like I'm seeing with soccer now. Like, now she's going out back and she's practicing more on her own. She's doing like, so it's kind of weird. Like, she was in that stalled period, and I took myself out of it completely and made this up to her. Obviously, I'm going to support wherever she wants to go, but it was just interesting that she had gotten to that stalled point and wanted more. So it was interesting that you were talking about leaving the team.
Right.
When you have success and you have like everything that's good, but then the player when the player can't see the development,
Right.
when they jump ship.
Right.
And
I think it's a connection to the coaches too. I feel like you have to have the connection, know the coach cares about you, but on the same plane, like you could do everything as a coach too, and that decision, the kids still decide to leave. So I don't, if not a lot of people probably know me in like the coaching environment, but it's very detailed. Like my coaching is very detailed, it's intimate, it's specific to players. I'm very involved in the players, like socially, like there's a lot of care because I know like some of the psychological components. I'm aware. It's the girls, you have to have an awareness about everything. I'm very aware and very attentive to a lot of things, but then players still want to leave. So like, is that the parent? And I don't know, your daughter, it seemed like there wasn't a connection with the coach and her.
Yep.
Like maybe she didn't feel like he invested in her, or he, you know, put everything into her, and she's aware of that. But what's baffling is when you pour out everything that you have, you know, you're going 120%, and then they leave.
And then
It's
they
hurtful.
right. Yep.
It's hurtful as a coach because you're like, what did I do wrong? But sometimes it's not you.
Right.
Sometimes there's other factors, you know, that come involved. And the example of my team right now, I mean, I had, we just won on Sunday. Not even 48 hours went by. Monday, they went to a tryout, 5 kids, and Tuesday, they told me 3 kids said they're leaving. No, 4 kids said they're leaving on Tuesday. So I'm very baffled. I don't even know what hit me. You know, I put in so much time with these kids. Most of the kids, I had them for 2 years plus. And so I don't know what happens there.
And this is kind of a crucial, that's kind of a crucial age. You're freshman, right? So
Yeah,
you're
you're freshman.
Right.
You're kind of at that point where you're kind of running out of time to be hopping around and trying out new things. And
Right.
you kind of need to get comfortable and get committed at that point and get with the system that works,
Right.
you know? So that's kind of...
Well, and then finally, you know, you work up all this time to get, you know, points to get in the big tournaments. Finally, you have a team that can get into big tournaments and win for exposure. And then all of a sudden, everyone scatters. And the people that the teammates that they leave are confused and hurt too, because they were going on this ride, right? And they were like, oh, we can get into Surf Cup, get into, you know, boom, boom, boom. And now it's frustrating because you got to rebuild. Like, I have to rebuild, which is not going to be attractive to some of the players, the level. I have to rebuild. And then these players that are leaving are rebuilding or going on a team that's this like subpar of what we just did.
Right.
So I don't understand. I'm confused as a coach, and this didn't happen in the past. Like, this is like, soccer is changing, and I don't know if it's just this valley. All this turnover is happening a lot in this valley.
Is it too saturated in the valley? Like, are there too many clubs? Like,
Yes.
the player pools super thin?
Right. Too many clubs, watered down
Yeah.
talent.
Because we even saw that with our 04 squad, which is a year younger, obviously, but there were some complaints of playing time from parents.
Right.
Right.
So I'm going to leave. My
Yes.
kid's going to go play elsewhere so they get more playing time. So, I mean, there's kind of a little bit more to it. Like, if you're leaving a high caliber team and your kid's not playing, I mean, if all you really care about is playing time, then, you know, there's a bigger picture that you're not seeing there.
Oh, 100%. And I guarantee the players that leave, it's not the player's decision most of the time.
Right.
I think it's the parent, like you talked about, being too involved.
Right.
And maybe it could be an ego,
Right.
you know, a check
Well, and
to some of their egos too.
And it's unfortunate because they have friends on the team,
Yeah.
and they just
It becomes a family.
take
They're
those
not-
people with them because those
Right.
people don't know what to do. So there is one ringleader, and then they just go. So, and then people don't care. They just they'll let the team that they were just on disintegrate because it's about me, me, me. What about me? What about me? What about me? And then no one cares for, you know. So we did all that stuff with the chemistry and everything, and now all of a sudden bonds are broken, people are mad.
There's this building process,
Right,
and I think parents need to buy into that as well.
right.
Yeah.
10,000 hours. We gotta put in 10,000 hours of this podcast to be like
Wow.
good.
To be good.
Well, I think we have enough content with Heidi to get halfway
Nice,
there. I think we have 5,000 hours with
nice.
Heidi.
Good.
We actually
I like
got
this.
We actually got her on the books for a few more episodes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
This will
Yep.
be good.
Mm-hmm. So our next question, I think this is Matt's question. The love to win.
Oh, that's always my favorite question
Yes,
to ask
yes.
people. Like, because I ask my kids all the time,
Mm-hmm.
do you love to win or do you hate to lose?
I love to win, but if I lose and play well, I'm satisfied.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just it's always like a gauge. Like I like to see where people's like competitive nature is,
Right.
because you have people out there just like whatever it takes to win. Like I'm not going to get second place,
Right.
but then losing, nobody wants to lose. So
Exactly.
No one wants to be in the car with the parent.
Oh,
Kid that loses.
that's a topic. The car ride.
the car ride.
The car ride home.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Silence is golden.
Silence
That's
is
mine.
So with your daughter, after a loss, after a game, would you have her reflect in the car, or would you just not say anything about?
I don't say anything.
You don't say anything.
No.
Okay.
Zero.
So I talk about it. I talk about it with the girls because it's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But we have like the same conversations, so they know what to expect. It's like it's always, hey, what went wrong out there?
Hmm.
What could you do to right it? And then, but hey, what went good? Like,
Right.
and there's always like I think when I try to point out that I don't think it hurts to point out the negatives, and then circle back around to like the positives. Like, hey, like Kevin gave you a goal of 4 crosses, and you crossed 5 in, and 1 went in. Like,
Right.
like as long as you're highlighting it and reinforcing,
Yeah.
and that's where we get on the same page with the coach. Like, I love getting on the same page with Kevin or Marcy, like trying to figure out what they're trying to get across to my kid. I'll reinforce that because I think
Right.
the coach needs that help, because then they have kind of two. Because the kid always looks at the parent on the field too. When you get the parents that coach and whatnot, and then there's confusion. So you have 2 coaches. Like, I don't want to disappoint my dad. He's telling me to do this, but then my coach is telling me to do this.
So parents, be quiet on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Don't coach from the sidelines.
No, let the coach do.
You're
their
paying
thing.
the coach for a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
It's to coach your kid.
Right.
And same with refs too. I mean,
Right.
Those are
there, I remember when I would ref an AY, people, and that's AY, like, and parents
Yes.
get crazy, like, they say some of the nuttiest stuff, and I remember one day I snapped, and I was like, look, like, you're reffing the next game then. Like, if you're not happy with this, then I want you out here the next game, and let's
Here's
see
the flag,
you
here's
do
the
it.
whistle.
I'll give you the flag and the
Yeah.
whistle, and then you do it, and you show me how it's done.
Silence after that.
Never happened again, so.
I think it's different when the kids are older though. So like when they're young, they want to talk about it. They can talk about it. When they're like maybe 14, 15, 16 years old. And I think with my daughter, I just kind of started it with, hey, I liked how you crossed the ball today. So ... And if she
Yes.
bites,
Right.
she'll bite.
Yes.
Yeah.
If she doesn't, leave
Let it
it.
go.
Let's
Yeah.
go to Starbucks or
Yes.
something. So I think that's a learned thing that you need because they need to, they're processing. If they didn't play well, they know. They already know,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't need to ask how they played.
You don't have to pour salt in that wound.
Right.
No.
Right.
Mackenzie's definitely, I hate to lose it.
Okay.
Because there's times where it's like an hour of silence afterwards,
Yep.
Yeah.
even with food bribery and I mean it's silence. So
Yeah.
I let her do her thing, and then when she's
Right.
ready to
Yeah.
talk, she'll talk.
Right. That's good. She's processing it.
That's kind of how my son is. I remember back a couple weeks ago, CRL game, and they got their butts kicked. I think it was a 6-1 loss.
Mm-hmm.
And my son actually didn't play very well in that game.
Right.
I knew it from the sideline. He knew it too. And it was a very silent car ride home.
Right.
Just because, I mean, the whole, he was still, I could feel just the negative, like,
Right. You feel his energy.
I could feel that energy, and he was
Right.
just so upset because he knew he didn't play well and because of the team loss. And
Right.
I just, shelved that discussion for later.
Right.
And he actually came to me the following day,
Right.
which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I didn't want to force the issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's good.
Mhm.
That's good stuff.
Yep.